All right, welcome back. Master Fermaint, past master of Odin Lodge number 209, here with you once again. Trying to go with the wider angle today, and I'm throwing some grayscale in there. But anyway, I know I gotta hold my camera a little higher because it just looks a little weird when you don't, right? Anywho, so here we are. Well, the last couple of days, or last couple of videos, we were talking about temperance, prudence, and fortitude. Man, it is windy. Anyways, so today I wanted to talk about justice, right? And so I had a hard time talking about justice because what do you talk about that people don't already know, right? Treat each other fairly, right? Equal, treat each other equally, be moral to one another. And that's certainly an easy thing, right? I mean, everybody knows that. It's not like, I'm not inventing the wheel here. But then that got me thinking, what is justice in the lodge, right? It's not just, obviously, we treat each other equally all the time. No big deal, right? We meet each other on the level. But I think there's something more to it, right? So think about for me for a second. Sitting in the east or sitting in the lodge. This is really for the master, but so sitting in the east and noticing how the groups tend to form, right? Most of the time it's not like exclusionary on purpose, right? It's exclusionary out of just the kind of a natural exclusion happens because you have brothers that are there all the time, right? You have brothers that are there at the meetings all the time, but more than that, they're active outside of the lodge together as well, right? So you have that core group that does those breakfasts and dinners and does the in Odenton we have a Toys for Tots thing that we've been able to participate in, So you have those real active brothers. There's that wind again. You have those real active brothers, and then you have those new brothers, right? So I don't know what's going on, right? And then you have those brothers that are returning. And then you have brothers that visit, right? So you have those four classes, or five classes, of brothers that can form into these groups. So when they form into the groups, sorry, I got somebody else over here recording themselves a video or having a conversation real loud. Anyway, so you have those brothers, and so when you look out onto the lodge, I guess we should be mindful of those things, right? Because is that justice, right? Is it just that when we get into our groups and we're talking about a ski trip or something like that, right? Only handful of the brothers were able to make it or felt comfortable enough to go because maybe they're not coordinated and they're afraid of falling down or something like that and they don't want to get hurt, or they just don't do well with cold. When you get back from the ski trip and you're talking about it and you're like, oh yeah, so and so's doing that and this, that was fun, I had a great time, and you see a brother, maybe he's new or he just wasn't there, and so he kind of naturally falls away from the conversation, right? Or a new brother or a visitor comes in, maybe it's not even talking about the ski trip, it's just brothers get into talking about the things that we know, and the visitor, the new brother, feels excluded because they don't know what you're talking about. So is that justice to let them kind of exclude themselves, right? But at the same time, what is the responsibility of the new brother, the visiting brother, the returning brother, or the brother that's not as active outside of the lodge? What is their responsibility to participate in these conversations, right? Because they have, a duty as well, right? To treat you the way they want to be treated, right? And you have the same responsibility to treat them the way that you want to be treated as well. I think about how I've felt visiting other lodges, right? And I would hope you would kind of think with me on this one. When's the last time you visited another lodge? And how did you feel? So to me, that kind of represents, right? It feels like, you're almost feels like you're a visitor in your own lodge, right? And that's not real healthy, obviously. And that drives people away, right? Think about it. Why would you come back to a lodge where you felt like you were a visitor and it was yours, or why would you come back to a lodge that, there was a bunch of people there was a bunch of brothers talking, and they're just talking about stuff you don't know anything about, and they didn't try to include you in the conversation, right? So that's my thoughts, right? That's what I'm thinking about. I think I think we have justice down, right? For the most part, even our society is already a pretty just society, right? Obviously, there's arguments to be made here or there, but, compare ourselves to 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 years ago, we have come a long way, right, as a species and a society. So I think that, not that we can't improve outside, but inside the lodge is where I'm more concerned right now. And I think that we have to have a heightened sense of things, right? So with justice, how can you treat every brother with their just due? And just treat them the way you want to be treated. And, we are already an exclusive organization, so there's no need to be more exclusionary. So maybe that's a challenge as well, right? I haven't done any challenges here. I was a fan of kind of challenging the lodge in the trestle board when I was master. So I challenge you all here. The next time you are in lodge, or the next time you're in a lodge function, or you're with a brother, or at work somewhere else, right? Representing the craft at all times, as you do. How can you include others not just in the conversation, but in your life, right? How can you share your experience, share your life with others? So that's my challenge. Look for opportunities to do that. Look for opportunities where someone is not being treated the way you want to be treated. How can you make a difference to them? Because believe it or not, you will. You make a huge difference to them, right? You'll make it so that brother wants to come back again, right? You'll make it so that person that you're at work wants to participate even further. And then they'll share their lives with you, share their ideas. And then together you can make things even better than they are. Or you can save another, all right? By including one, justice, just like any of the other tenets, tend to be infectious, right? Others want to perpetuate that idea of equal and fair treatment to each other. So that's that. One thing I think that I did with the other videos was talk about how society doesn't necessarily like these things, right? And we don't, right? You look at kind of social media right now, it's a terrible place where justice certainly does not exist. But just in daily life and how how society is treating justice, right? By giving it different names and different classifications of justice, which then exclude someone, right? Inevitably, someone's going to get excluded. And then that taints the idea of what justice is, and the pool of men that we're looking for now have a skewed idea of what justice is and what it means. Because I'll tell you right now, you all know this, Masonry, as I said it before, this is an exclusive club. Exclusivity is the point, right? So I'm not to say that exclusivity should be the point while you're in the lodge. I've already covered that, but being a Freemason or calling yourself a Freemason is a distinction among men, and the exclusivity of it is it's not attractive to a lot of people, right? Because I think that our society has kind of made it sound bad, right? Because it's not exclusive. We're not exclusive because we think we're better than anyone else. We're exclusive because we want to make ourselves better than we were. And that is a distinction. So, how do we attract men that have that thinking, right? Because we're not going to teach it, right? We're not going to make men like that. We're not going to make a man out in the world, we're not going to change their minds on what justice is, right? Like the other tenets, they have to be kind of inherent, and we just have to find the men that have that inherent quality and belief in justice. So that's the challenge, right? The other challenge, right, to the craft itself is figuring out how, or not figuring out how, finding those men that already have it and, attracting them to the craft so that they can perpetuate justice amongst the brethren, and we can learn from each other and all that kind of good stuff. But it's going to be tough because, again, the tenets of our profession are almost frowned upon by society today. And justice is no different, right? Justice is, obviously an easy thing to describe and define, but it is hard to practice, right? So, anyways, on a lighter note, it is once again a beautiful day. I have you saw it in the background a couple of times. There is a wonderful sun out and a beautiful water painted sky. It is fantastic. And I hope you'll be able to take advantage of it where you are. Hopefully you'll be able to go out and check out the beautiful day and enjoy it, right? Get out there with your family, go for a walk, all that good stuff. And I'll see you on the next video. Oh, actually, before I forget, hopefully you had a chance to see past Master Ken Adams' his video. And I'm hoping to get a couple of more past masters on here so that you all can get, another perspective or a couple of more perspectives on these ideas, right? And just lessons learned in general, right? Because that's the whole point, or the whole point of this series is to help people learn things that they might not already know, right? Or at least they might know it, they just didn't realize it. So, anyways, all right, brothers, that is the end of this video. I will see you on the next one. Have a great day.